With the permission of Hashem, there is in the parasha of this week, there is a lot of things about what the Torah talk. But there is something very, very special. One, the Torah begin how a person educates his children. The education is very important in the education. The education that means when a person get married, and the Baruch Hashem give him children. So before he will start to educate them, it's normal that a parent has the obligation to educate the children. Before they start educating the children first, they have to educate themselves. They cannot ask from the children what they don't do. The children are very clever. They see everything what the parent do. So for them, it's very important that the parent first, they have to do good things before they ask them what to do. For instance, if the father asks his children when they come from school, hey, sit, don't watch the television, you study. And the children, they see the parent, the father, sitting on his chair, having a sandwich, and watch the television. The child, he don't understand. Papa asked me not to watch the television. I have to study, to my homework, and he sit and watch television. He don't understand. So you cannot ask from your children, respect Shabbat. If you don't respect Shabbat, you cannot ask from your children, don't be bad boy, if they see the father that he's a bad man. So that's what the Torah said. The Torah begin, Emor ve'amata. There is, Hashem said, Le'azir gdolim al ktanim. Hashem said, before the parents educate their children, first, he has to educate himself first. There is a halacha, there is a law about the Kohen. The Kohen is not allowed to touch a dead man. He's not allowed. Because the Kohen is supposed to be holy. And if he touch a dead man, the dead man is impure. As long as the soul is on the man he has not impurity coming on him. But as soon that the man pass away and he die, he become impure. And that way, this is the reason why in the morning when we wake up, we have to wash our hand. Why we have to wash our hand? Because when we sleep, we are like 60% dead. Because all the body is gone. It is only 40% of the body alive. So when you wake up, so you are impure. That means that the soul, the neshama that Hashem give, is that neshama that make the person pure. As long as the person die, the neshama gone, the person he become impure. And that's what the Torah talk. Emor ve'amarta, the Torah talk in this parasha of this week, that Hashem he warned the parent and he asked them, don't be lenefesh lo yitama be'amav, lehazher gdolim aktanim. The Torah warned the parent to teach the children, if they are Kohanim, that they should be very careful not to become impure by having a contact with a dead person. You know, today, look, there was a big funeral, you know, when Rab Steinman passed away. Over 500,000 people, they were in his levaya. And Rab Ovadia Yosef, when he passed away, there was maybe 1 million per person. They were in the levaya. Rabbi Eliashiv, when he passed away, few years ago, there were more than 400 people in his levaya. So I'm sure that some Kohanim, some children, they see thousands, hundreds of thousands of people going to the levaya, to the cemetery. And of course, at that moment, the father, he said to his child, hey, we are Kohanim. We are not allowed to go in that levaya. So the child, you don't understand, he will ask his father, Papa, but there is a lot of rabbis that they go to the levaya for the funeral of that rabbi, big rabbi. Look, Papa, there is hundreds of people. So hundreds of thousands of people. Why would not go? So this is a time that the father will tell his child, well, we are Kohanim. And a Kohen, he is not allowed. But just imagine that he will tell it to his son, no, we are Kohanim, we are not allowed to go to the funeral. And what the father does, he goes. I mean, that's no good. And that's what the Torah try to explain. Before Hashem, he said to the Kohanim, "Lenefesh lo yitama be'ama." That means that the Torah repeats twice, "Emor ve'amarta," because the Torah should. The question is why the Torah would not say, "Tell the parents not to be impure." Why the Torah repeat? Tell the parent and tell them. Why twice tell and tell? So the answer is because the Torah wants to teach you that before you tell your children, tell to yourself first. Tell to yourself first. You cannot educate your children and you don't educate yourself. So this is something that today we learn in the education of each family. The Jewish people, unfortunately, we have a big responsibility toward our children when it comes to Jewish education, especially today in our generation. That to be a Jew is not easy. It's very hard to be a Jew. So it's so important in our generation that the parent should be a good example. How can a man can recognize himself? How can a man can know what he's worth, what he is? You know what I thought? Look at your children. You see, who are you? Because what you give to your children, that's what they will be. What you don't give them, so they will not be. So it's up to the parent. The parent, only years after, they will know the investment they did on themselves through their children. Every day, I look at the picture of my father and I say to my father, thank you. There is no a day that I don't look at the picture of my father and I do not tell him thank you. My father passed away maybe 37 years ago. I remember. And all the time, I thank him. Because it was a good example for me. So today, I'm sure what I am today, it's only because of my father. Because my father, he teach me something. He teach me only things that he does. He never teach me something that he don't do. I mean, he will not tell me, wake up, and then he go to bed. Never. When he tell me, wake up, that means that he's already sitting in his table and learning Torah. He will never ask me something that he will not do. But there is one thing that he did, my father, that he did to me, but he never did it to himself. My father, he never went out. All his life was sitting in the house and studying Torah. And he sent me from the house, and I did not see my father for years. So the question is, my father did something that he didn't do to himself. I mean, He did not exile to a yeshiva like he did for me. He sent me away from home while he was sitting in the house. And besides this, he never went home, went outside. So how can he do something that he didn't, how can he do something for me that he didn't do for himself? And I could accuse him. I could say, Papa, you did something wrong. Because the Torah said that before you educate your children, before you ask for your children to do something that it's hard to do, only if they see you doing it. So, Papa, you did something that you never did. You sent me away from you. You sent me to the yeshiva. You sent me there for 8 years, while you never went out from the house, and never your parents sent you away. So how you did something that to me that you didn't do to yourself? The answer is, why my father he sent me? Why I don't have this argument against my father? Why every day I thank him? Why? It's the opposite. I should be a little bit angry against him. Why he sent me away from him? And besides this, he didn't act as the Torah said. The Torah said, before you ask from your children to do something, you have to do it for yourself. You have to do it first. Especially when you ask from your children to do a sacrifice, to do a mitzvah, it's very important that the child see you doing that. One day I heard my son, Moshe, he was giving a lecture, and he says to his, in the lecture, I was listening to him, he said, I'm going to embarrass my father, but I have to tell you something about me. He said, I have to tell something about my father. That when I started to give lectures to students in the yeshiva, sometimes I used to come at 10 o'clock, 10:30, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, and never I saw my father in bed. Always, when I woke home, he opened the house and he asked me, did you eat? And a lot of times I'd tell him, Papa, but it's too late. You just came from America. Why didn't you go to bed? Why didn't you go to sleep? And my son said that my answer was, Moshe, I don't want that one day you will have an argument against me. While you were doing a lecture, I was in bed. I teach you all the time that what I can do, you can do it. But you cannot, I cannot ask from you something that you can do. So Moshe, this is the reason why, even that I am tired, I wait till you come. Because I don't want you to go to bed with the thought, I was giving a lecture and my father is sleeping. So you understand? So we are the photocopy of our parents. If we do good things, because we saw our parents doing the good things. Unfortunately, if we do bad things, it's because we saw our parents doing bad things. So our parents, they cannot teach us something that they don't do. This is what the Torah is screaming. So now my question is, why I had no argument? Why didn't I didn't keep, bad thoughts in my heart, in my brain against my father, that he did what he didn't do for himself. He did to me what he didn't do for himself. The answer is, anyway, what my father did. He sent me to the yeshiva. All my life I saw my father sitting, learning Torah. So I have no argument. He did not, my father didn't send me to study Torah while he was not studying Torah. So that's why I have no argument. Because the most important is, Baruch Hashem, thanks God, I have a brain. I know that my father, all his concern was that one day I will be a rabbi, that one day I will be like his grandfather, his grandfather, like him. That was his purpose. So that's why every morning when I come to my office and I see the picture of my father, I tell him thank you. When I see the picture of my grandfather, I tell him thank you for my father. I say, grandfather, Rabbi Chaim Pinto, thank you that you educate your son. Because what you give your son, so you give it to me. So what I have now today, I give it to my children. And this is how we can accomplish what the Torah said. Emor ve'amarta. The parasha of this week, the parasha of Emor, if there is a repetition, tell, Emor ve'amarta. Why the repetition? If somebody asks me a favor, he don't need to repeat twice. You don't need to, once it's enough. So the answer is, once is for the parent, once is for the children. That means להזהיר גדולים, to warn the oldest, that means the parent, to give to their children. That means Hashem is like, it tells the parent, before you give the education to your children, first educate yourself. You know, as I said before, that a man, after 120 years, he will see himself. How can he see himself if he has success in his life? Through the children. If he see the success, the spiritual success of the children, that means, or what to give them, because he has them already. So he can be proud. He can be very, very proud. Otherwise, if, God forbid, there is a beautiful story, at the time of the Bet HaMikdash, when the Greek, when they occupied Israel, and they didn't do the Jews doing Torah and mitzvot, so the Hashmonaim fight them. For 52 years, the Greek were dominating the Jews. And after the Hashmonaim, they fight the Greek and they throw them from Israel. But during the occupation of the Greek in Israel, there was a woman, Bilga Bat Miriam, a woman, a Jewish woman, that she came with her boyfriend, a Greek, to the temple, to the Bet HaMikdash, and she started to curse the Bet HaMikdash. And the rabbis, after that the Hashmonaim threw the Greek outside Israel, the rabbis, they decided that that family, that they will not be allowed to come to work in the Bet HaMikdash. So there is a big rabbi, the Chafetz Chaim. He asked a beautiful question. He said, how it's possible that this girl, this woman, that she was the daughter of big Kohanim Gedolim, how it's possible that this daughter, that this girl, Jewish girl, she cursed the temple, she cursed Hashem. How it's possible? And the Chafetz Chaim gave a beautiful answer. He said the reason is because if that girl, she cursed the temple, if that girl, she did bad things in the temple and she went out with a Greek because she had no good education. Because her father was a Kohen Gadol, who was a big priest. And probably, and it looked like the father, he was a good Kohen, he was a Kohen Gadol, but he was a Kohen Gadol for himself. He didn't think about other people, he didn't care about his family. That way, because she did not get good education from the father, so she became like that. That means, if we understand, the children are the photocopy of the father. The father, he give a good education, so the children, they will be well educated. Otherwise, it's a problem. Unfortunately, today, a lot of people, I'm sorry to tell you this, but there is today people talk about the Shoah. Yes, look what happened. Yes, look what happened. Why God allowed to happen what happened, 6 million Jews. Why this? Why only you hear question. Of course, for me, I have no question. So one day somebody told me, yes, you have no question because you are from Morocco and the German, the Nazi didn't go to Morocco. So that's why you are not concerned. But we, the Ashkenaz, we are concerned because look what happened to us. Understand them. You have to note, I am only a human being. Me as well, I'm very sad about what happened. I was in Auschwitz, I was in Treblinka, I visited a lot of, unfortunately, camp, concentration camp, unfortunately, it's too bad. But I have no answer for that, there is no answer. But not because I have no answer that I have to reject, I have to accuse God. No. Yes, I know. There is no. Unfortunately, a lot of people, I'm sorry to tell you this, a lot of people, I know a lot of people that because they heard the parents that they talk bad about God, they talk bad about the history, so they become as well anti-religion. Unfortunately, when it comes to say Kaddish for the dead people, they say Kaddish. But when you ask them, do you believe in God? They will tell you, no, we don't believe in God because if there is God, why he let that happen? So ask them, but maybe one day you will know. So they said, no, there is no one day. It's something that we don't accept. But whose fault? I mean, on the other hand, there is a lot of people that they accept. There is a big tzaddik. They've been talking about him on television here in Israel, the Tzantz Rebbe, that the Nazi killed his 11 children and he killed his wife. And he killed his wife. That means, 2 weeks ago, they talk a lot about him everywhere here in Israel. And when they asked him, he passed away already, but when he was alive, they asked him, how did you have the strength to see your 11 children dying in front of you, of your eyes, and they killed your wife? How you are strong? You know what was his answer? He said, well, my father teach me to believe in Hashem in any situation. So my belief in Hashem, it will not move 1 inch. So you see here that everything came from the way you educate your children. If you complain, your children will complain. But if you teach your children, well, this is the hand of Hashem, that's the will of Hashem, there is nothing you can do, so that your children, they will grow up with this so much confidence on themselves. In Paris, there was an old woman that she did not have mezuzah in her house. She lived in the Marais. And one day, some Lubavitch Hasidim, they told her, but you are Jewish. Why you don't have a mezuzah in your home? And she said, well, I'm afraid because of the mezuzah, the Nazi came and they took my parents, they killed them. Before they went with the German, I ran away. They did not catch me, so that way. So they told her, but now today there is no Nazi anymore. Today you live in France. You have liberty. There is nothing to worry. But she said, well, I cannot still, poor woman, because I have a related, somebody from my family that was complaining about God. So, my friend, today there is no Nazi. Today, Baruch Hashem, we live. Baruch Hashem, thanks God, we have no problem. There is no threat, nothing. But there is another Shoah. Shoah when there is no religion. There is two kinds of Shoah. There is the Shoah, unfortunately, that we've been through, that the German, they killed the Nazi, not the German, the Nazi, unfortunately. Today, there is no Shoah today. But unfortunately, we create a kind of Shoah that when there is no Shabbat, when there is no religion, there will be assimilation. Finished. It's another kind of Shoah that we create ourselves. So that way the Torah warn you. Emor ve'amata. The Torah warn, be careful, be careful. The Torah warn the parents, if you want your children to act well, to behave well, if you want to take care that they will grow as Jew, they will grow well, you have to be careful. Give them a good Jewish education, but don't just give them Jewish education. You have to give a Jewish education to yourself first before you give them. And that's why the Torah starts talking about the Kohanim. We learn from the Kohanim. When we see our Kohen, he is very careful not to impure himself, to touch a dead man. So we learn from them how to keep ourselves pure, what to eat, what not to eat, because to be pure is not easy. It's very hard, especially in our generation. It's not easy. I'm sorry to tell you this, but this is life. My friend,